So we continue by exploring, seeing together Confucius complaints and Amy Albertine's article, Confucius Complaints in the Analects account of the good life. So I think we should understand Confucius complaints within the context of him providing moral teaching, the ethical way to achieving the good life. As we mentioned in the previous conversation, disappointments, loneliness, and dissatisfaction are not contradictions to Confucius' promotion of the good life. Okay, so for Albertine, Confucius laments because of his lack of recognition. He often expresses sadness that his moral insights and teachings go unrecognized in society, also by political leaders. So he wanted to have a broader, like a tremendous influence on the society in which he lived. So for Albertine, this deep sense of disappointment or lack of recognition reveals the deep pain of a person who was morally upright, of a person who attempted to teach others how to live virtuously, ethically, morally, and justly. The second type of disappointment is this. He disappointment in his students. You know, sometimes Confucius would criticize his students, his disciples, for their shortcomings, for their failure to live up to high moral standards. In chapter 9, verse 18, in the Analect, it reads, I have yet to meet a man who loves virtue as much as he loves beauty, as I have yet to meet a man who loves virtue as much as he loves beauty. Yeah. A sense of isolation or a sense of alienation. You know, according to Albertine's interpretation, Confucius often sounds lonely or isolated. Why? Well, because if his ideals of the virtuous life, the good life, often set, a barrier between him and the people around him. So there was this separation. In Analects 17, verse 7, it says, Am I bitter to be discarded? Or am I a bitter person to be discarded? Chapter 17, verse 7. Chapter 17, verse 7. Another form of disappointment, Albertine observes, and this work is this sorrow over the state of the world. Confucius would mourn, would lament over the moral and political decline of his time. Not because his life was bad, but because his world, the people around him, the political leadership around him were broken. In Analects 8, verse 13, it reads, when the way prevail in the world, right? When the way prevail in the world, he shows himself. When he does not, he withdraws. He withdraws. I want to bring this to a closure by outlining why Confucius still matters today. Why Confucius still matters. First reason, Confucianism matters because it's a philosophy, way of life that emphasizes character over credentials. There's a deep emphasis of character formation over one's credentials in life. The second reason, Confucianism as a way of life to the good life highlights the importance of lifelong learning. Lifelong learning, that means learning is a journey, it's a process. One never stops learning in life as long as one has breath. The third reason why Confucius still matters today is that Confucius advocates for moral or ethical leadership in government. He argues that political leaders should be virtuous, just like Plato and the Republic, just like Aristotle and Nicomachean ethics. Okay? Political leaders should be virtuous. They should be righteous in their judgment, in their actions. A fourth reason Confucianism matters today is this. Confucius, the master, promotes respect for elders and tradition because he believes that we can recover wisdom to the past by learning from wise leaders, wise rulers. Finally, Confucius still matters for us today because Confucius, as a teacher, as a moral teacher, as a philosopher, as a political thinker, encourages community over individualism. Now, when we discussed, last week when we discussed Ubuntu, South African philosopher Ubuntu, we emphasized the importance of community over individualism. Confucius